trust. Now let me ask you a question. Who was powerful in that moment? The Nazi guard or the singing Jews? I have to be powerful. Right? In other words, a person who's imbued with spirit has to be power hungry. If you are not power hungry, you are not a spiritual person. Clear? It's a shocking statement. If you're not power hungry, you are unspiritual, you are unkind, you are closed. People who are not power hungry are not spiritual. I stand by that sentence. A person who is not power hungry is not spiritual. We need to be power hungry. Okay? It's like, wow. So what does that mean? Okay, so I'm just going to close with one sentence, just to give an image of it, and then we're going to spend all next week on power. Okay, next week is about power. Good. I just want to get the sentence clear. If you're not power hungry, you are not spiritual. So if you feel that drive for power and you say, oh, that's my ego. No, the ego does try and usurp and hijack the drive for power. But that's not the drive for power. The drive for power is authentic. There's a reason why all the great interior scientists called the divine the infinity of power. It's not because power is simply abusive and God's the ultimate abuser. That's not exactly why. There's a deeper reason. Power is an elixir. It's a sacred elixir. Power, you want to be powerful, right? And the highest level of pleasure, and that's a different conversation. We have one of our books in the Great Library is about pleasure and ethics. And there's 6 levels of pleasure, and the highest level is the pleasure of power. Okay? But I'm just going to give you, so I'm not going to go into what that means this week, which is a little bit radical. I apologize, but I want to kind of honor the time and move into prayer. But let me at least give you an image, okay? Is that okay? Okay, just everyone okay? I've got a moment for an image? Okay. Okay, like, oh my God. And I shared this a little bit, with my colleague, Andrew, and we did a conversation on this past Thursday. And Andrew, if you're listening, we didn't get to do our after talk because I had some blood test work that day. Right? I was just doing just a standard checkup, which I haven't done one for many years. So I had to take like enough blood for it was like the vampire day. They stick a needle in, they just kept pumping and pumping. I'm like, really? Are we doing this all day? Right. So sorry, Andrew, I'm sorry I missed our meeting afterwards. And I look forward to meeting Monday or Tuesday morning, in case you happen to be watching. Okay. So I shared with Andrew this thing on power. So my family, I lost most of my immediate family in the end of World War II. My parents are both European. They were both participated in different dimensions of what's called the Holocaust. And one of the stories that I grew up on, my mother was part of my mother's milk, were her personal stories of horror, which I've alluded to in passing. I'm not going to mention now. But it was also the stories of people close in the family. And these stories went through all of Poland. Poland began with 3 million practitioners of Hebrew wisdom and ended with, maybe 100,000. Everyone was killed, right? It's unimaginable that the ostensibly most civilized nation in the world, Wagner, the best Bach and Beethoven, right, became the most degraded expressions of human beings, right? And so the Jews were marching to the gas chambers. And it's 1944, and 12,000 Jews are being gassed every day in Auschwitz, right? And the Allies could easily bomb them, but they don't. And David Wyman wrote a book, a Christian scholar in Massachusetts, called The Abandonment of the Jews. It's must reading if you want to understand realpolitik. And so it's not being bombed. And they're surrounded by Nazi guards. And the guards seem to be powerful. They're holding machine guns. They're filled with power. So it seems. And the Jews, mothers with their babies, are walking to their deaths and they're singing. Not all of them. People were horror stricken, but many were able to find this, and they sang, Ani mami, I trust. Be'emuna shelema, with complete trust. Beviat HaMashiach, Ani mami, ve'af al pi sheitmamea im kol zeh. אחכה לו, בכל יום שיבוא, בכל יום שיבוא, ואף על פי שיתממע עם כל זה, אחכה לו, בכל יום שיבוא, בכל Yom Sheyavo, which means I trust, with complete trust, Beviat HaMashiach, that Homo Amor will emerge, the Messiah will come, but Messiah means the emergence of a new human and a new humanity. Va'afal pishit mamea, and even though yitmamea literally means the Messiah, Homo Amor, this emergence of this new human may tarry. It may take a long time, but it also means tamua, even though it seems radically amazing and impossible. No. Im kol zeh, nonetheless, achakelo, I'm going to wait, but not a waiting for Godot. Not Samuel Beckett's waiting for Godot. It's waiting. It's active waiting. It's activist waiting. I'm poised. It's the waiting before explosion and sexuality. I'm fully alive. I'm fully aroused. I'm waiting. I'm merging. I'm participating in, right? I'm loving reality open in every literal second. I'm waiting because at any minute, it can happen. The nature of history, not that there's going to be a man riding on a white donkey. It's that there's going to be a unique self symphony, a self-organizing, self-actualizing cosmos that will itself generate a new human and a new humanity with a whole new source code of value that transforms reality step by step. Trust. Now let me ask you a question. Who was powerful in that moment? The Nazi Guard or the singing Jews? Well, let me ask you a question. How many Nazi guards are left in the world, right? There are some neo-Nazis in the world, and there's lots of anti-Semitism. But those Nazi guards and their lineage aren't in the world, right? Looked like they had the power. The Nazi guards were powerless. They were pathetic. They were utterly without real power. And the mother holding her baby, the man holding his wife's hand, the man or woman walking by themselves, singing Ani Mamin, filled with power. Power that reverberated and resonated above and below. Power that changed reality in every dimension, that changed the cosmos itself. Wow. That's what it means to be power hungry. It means a lot more than that, but that's the beginning of what it means, right?